I mean, the blue-eyed people are the better people in this room. The blue-eyed people get 5 extra minutes of recess, while the brown-eyed people have to stay in. The brown-eyed people do not get to use the drinking fountain. You'll have to use the paper cups. You brown-eyed people are not to play with the blue-eyed people on the playground, because you are not as good as blue-eyed people.
アメリカ西北部アイオワ州ライスビルの小学校に懐かしい顔が戻ってきました。久しぶりの同窓会が開かれようとしています。卒業生を迎えるのはジェーン・エリオット先生。小学校3年生の時にエリオット先生から受けたある授業が今も卒業生の胸に焼き付いています。それは人種差別についての実験授業でした。17年前この授業の模様はドキュメンタリー番組としてアメリカ三大ネットワークの一つ ABC 放送から全国に放送されました。そして今当時の生徒たちの希望でそのフィルムが再上映されることになりました。
This is a special week. Does anybody know what it is?
National Brotherhood.
National Brotherhood Week. What's brotherhood?
Be kind to your brothers. Be kind.
Okay, be kind to your brothers.
Like you would like to be treated.
Treat everyone the way you would like to be treated. Treat everyone as though he was your brother. And is there anyone in this United States that we do not treat as our brothers?
Yes.
Who?
Yeah,
The black people. Who else? Absolutely, the Indians. And when many people see a black person or a yellow person or a red person, what do they think?
Look at that. Dumb people.
And look at the dumb people. What else do they think sometimes? What kinds of things do they say about black people?
Call them niggers.
In the city, many places in the United States, how are black people treated? How are Indians treated? How are people who are of a different color than we are treated?
They're part of this world. They don't get anything in this world.
Why is that?
Because they're a different color.
You think you know how that would feel to be judged by the color of your skin?
Yeah.
Do you think you do? No, I don't think you'd know how that felt unless you had been through it, would you? It might be interesting to judge people today by the color of their eyes. Would you like to try this?
Yeah!
Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Since I'm the teacher and I have blue eyes, I think maybe the blue-eyed people should be on top the first day.
And up here?
I mean, the blue-eyed people are the better people in this room. Oh, yes, they are. Blue-eyed people are smarter than brown-eyed people.
My dad isn't that stupid.
Is your dad brown-eyed?
Yeah.
One day you came to school and you told us that he kicked you.
He did.
Do you think a blue-eyed father would kick his son?
Yeah. My
dad's blue-eyed. He's never kicked me. Greg's dad is blue-eyed. He's never kicked him. Rex's dad is blue-eyed. He's never kicked him. This is a fact. Blue-eyed people are better than brown-eyed people. Are you brown-eyed or blue-eyed?
Blue.
Why are you shaking your head?
I don't know.
Are you sure that you're right? Why? What makes you so sure that you're right?
I don't know.
The blue-eyed people get 5 extra minutes of recess, while the brown-eyed people have to stay in. The brown-eyed people do not get to use the drinking fountain. You'll have to use the paper cups. You brown-eyed people are not to play with the blue-eyed people on the playground because you are not as good as blue-eyed people. Well, the brown-eyed people in this room today are going to wear collars so that we can tell from a distance what color your eyes are. On page 127.
100?
127. Is everyone ready? Everyone but Laurie. Ready, Laurie?
Brown-eyed.
She's a brown-eyed. You'll begin to notice today that we spend a great deal of time waiting for brown-eyed people. The yardstick's gone. Well, okay. I don't see the yardstick, do you?
It's probably over there. Hey, Mrs. Lake, you better keep that on your desk so if the brown-eyed people get out of hand.
Oh! You think if the brown-eyed people get out of hand, that would be the thing to use? Who goes first to lunch?
Blue-eyed.
The blue-eyed people. No brown-eyed people go back for seconds. Blue-eyed people may go back for seconds. Brown-eyed people do not.
Brown-eyed.
Don't you know?
Oh, they're not smart.
Is that the only reason?
It'll take too much.
It might take too much. Okay, quietly.
And it seemed like when we were down on the bottom, everything bad was happening to us.
The way they treated you, you felt like you didn't even want to try to do anything.
It seemed like Mrs. Elliott was taking our best friends away from us.
What happened at recess? Were two of you boys fighting?
Yeah, Russell and John were.
What happened, John?
Russell called me names and I hit him in the gut.
What did he call you?
Brown eyes.
Did you call him brown eyes?
They always call us that. Greg and all of the boys call us that. They keep calling us brown eyes. They say, come here, brown eyes. And they were calling us blue eyes. I wasn't. Sandy and Donna were. Yeah.
What's wrong with being called brown eyes?
It means that we're stupider. Well, not that. But... Oh, that's just the same way as other people call black people niggers. Yeah.
Is that the reason you hit him, John? Did it help? Did it stop him? Did it make you feel better inside?
Stop Russell.
Did it make you feel better inside? Did it make you feel better to call him brown eyes? Why do you suppose you call him brown eyes?
Right, because he has brown eyes.
Is that the only reason? He didn't call him brown eyes yesterday, and he had brown eyes yesterday. Didn't he?
Because we just started it. Ever since you put those blue rings on there. To tease them. Kind of tease them.
Oh, is this teasing?
No. Well, he did it.
Were you doing it for fun, to be funny, or were you doing it to be mean? I don't know. Don't ask me. Did anyone laugh at you when you did?
I watched what had been
私は賢くて仲良しだった子供たちが悪意に満ちた差別をするようになるのを観察していました。子供たちはたった15分でまるで別人のようになってしまったんです。
Yesterday, I told you that brown-eyed people aren't as good as blue-eyed people. That wasn't true. I lied to you yesterday. The truth is that brown-eyed people are better than blue-eyed people. Russell, where are your glasses?
I forgot them.
You forgot them. And what color are your eyes?
Blue.
Susan Ginder has brown eyes. She didn't forget her glasses.
Yeah.
Russell Ring has blue eyes, and what about his glasses?
He forgot them.
He forgot them. Yesterday we were visiting, and Greg said, "Boy, I like to hit my little sister as hard as I can. That's fun." What does that tell you about blue-eyed people?
They're naughty. They fight a lot.
The brown-eyed people may take off their collars, and each of you may put your collar on a blue-eyed person. The brown-eyed people get 5 extra minutes of recess. You blue-eyed people are not allowed to be on the playground equipment at any time. You blue-eyed people are not to play with the brown-eyed people. Brown-eyed people are better than blue-eyed people. They're smarter than blue-eyed people. And if you don't believe it, look at Brian. Do blue-eyed people know how to sit in a chair? Very sad. Very, very sad. Who can tell me what contraction should be in the first sentence? Go to the board and write it, John. Come on, let's do it again. Loosen up. Up, up, up. Come on. That's better. Now, do you know how to make a W? Okay, write the contraction for we are. Now, that's beautiful writing. Is that better?
Yes.
Brown-eyed people learn fast, don't they?
Yeah.
Boy, do brown-eyed people learn fast. Very good. Greg, what did you do with that cup? Will you please go and get that cup and put your name on it and keep it at your desk? Blue-eyed people are wasteful. Okay, you want to be timed this morning?
Yeah. A.
Are you sorting going?
私は簡単なテストをしました。茶色い目の子どもたちは1日目には5分30秒かかりましたが、同じ問題を2日目にはわずか2分30秒で終えました。優れた人間であるという意識が子どもたちの能力を高めたのです。
You went faster than I ever had anyone go through the card pack. Why couldn't you get them yesterday?
We had those collars on.
You think the collars kept you?
Just keep thinking about those collars.
Oh.
And I kept getting rolling around.
Oh, and you couldn't think as well with the collars on. 4 minutes and 18 seconds.
I know we weren't going to make it.
How long did it take you yesterday?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. How long did it take you today?
4 minutes and 18 seconds.
What happened?
One down.
Why? What were you thinking of?
This.
I hate today.
How do you do? I hate too.
Because I'm blue-eyed.
See, I am too.
There's nothing, it's not funny, it's not fun, it's not pleasant. This is a filthy, nasty word called discrimination. We're treating people a certain way because they are different from the rest of us. Is that fair?
No.
Nothing fair about it. We didn't say this was going to be a fair day, did we?
No.
And it isn't. It's a horrid day. Okay, you ready? What did you people who are wearing blue collars now find out today?
Oh, you feel
I know what they felt like yesterday.
I did too.
How did they feel yesterday?
Down. Like a dog on a leash.
Yeah.
It feels like a chain them up wherever you go.
Into prison. Like you're chaining them up into prison. Like you're shut up and you're throwing the key away.
Should the color of some other person's eyes have anything to do with how you treat them?
No.
All right, then should the color of their skin?
No.
Should you judge people
No.
by the color of their skin?
No.
You're going to say that today and this week and probably all the time you're in this room. You'll say, no, Mrs. Elliott.
No.
Every time I ask that question.
No.
Then,
No, Mrs. Elliott.
when you see a black man or an Indian or someone walking down the street, are you going to say, look at that silly looking thing?
No.
Does it make any difference whether their skin is black or white?
No.
Or yellow?
No.
Or red?
No.
Is that how you decide whether people are good or bad?
No.
Is that what makes people good or bad?
No.
Let's take these collars off.
Hey, don't stick yourself down there. No, you'd have to sort. Here, Mr. Valley, you can.
What would you like to do with them?
Throw them around.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Here, Mr. Valley. Good eat them. Don't eat them like great.
Now you know a little bit more than you knew at the beginning of this week?
Yes.
A lot. Do you know a little bit more than you wanted to?
Yes.
This isn't an easy way to learn this, is it?
No, Miss.
Oh, well, you Okay, now let's all sit down here together. Blue eyes and brown eyes. Does it make any difference what color you are?
No.
Down, girl.
Don't get it. See you again.
Oh, you found your friend, huh? No, did you get that? Okay, ready to listen now? Okay, now are you back?
Yes.
That feel better?
Yes.
Does the color of eyes that you have make any difference in the kind of person you are?
No, Mrs. Valley.
Does that feel like being home again, girls?
Yes.
Oh, well, you stop it. Oh, well, you
エリオット先生が初めてこの授業を試みたのは1968年の4月のことでした。
マーチン・ルーサー・キング牧師の暗殺がこの授業を始めるきっかけになりました。人種差別については常日頃から話し合ってきましたが、私はもっと徹底したやり方でこの問題を扱おうと決心したのです。キング牧師は私のクラスで今月の英雄に選ばれたばかりでした。その彼の死の意味を言葉で説明するのは不可能でした。テレビでは白人の解説者が残された黒人の指導者たちに無神経な質問をしていました。これからは誰が黒人たちの面倒を見るんですか？黒人たちはどうなるんでしょうね。誰が黒人を管理していくんでしょう。まるで黒人たちを右往の衆だと決めつけたような質問の仕方でした。また白人の場合には妻が亡くなった夫の意思を継ぐことがありますが、黒人にはそれができるでしょうかとも言っていました。その傲慢な態度を見て私は思いました。白人の大人たちがこんな具合では私の生徒たちはどうなるんだろう。こんな大人たちの影響を受けては大変だと。そしてあくる日、私は例の授業を試みました。目の色で子どもたちを分けると、そこにはたちまちのうちに一つの社会の縮図が出来上がりました。
アイオワ州ライスビルはトウモロコシ畑に囲まれた小さな町です。人口はおよそ1000人。町民全員が白人というアメリカでは特殊な社会です。こうした環境の中でエリオット先生は人種差別を身近な問題として捉えることができ、差別意識を持たない人間を育てようと心を砕いてきました。フィルム上映の後、エリオット先生は卒業生たちに改めて昔の2日間の授業の感想を聞いてみました。
レーモンド、あなたは最初の日先頭に立って茶色い目の人に意地悪をしてたわね。あれはどうして？まるでナチの少年版だったわよ。腹立たしいくらいだったわ。
抑制が効かなくなってひどく意地の悪い人間になっていました。相手が仲のいい友達だったことも忘れて、それまでに鬱積していた敵意とか闘争心とかを一気に爆発させてしまったんです。
I felt like I was a king, like I ruled them brown eyes, like I was better than them. Happy.
で差別をしたのね。
え
え。差別される側の人はどう感じてた？
あの日家に帰ってから私たちを差別した人たちのことを憎みました。
私のことも？
ええ、なぜこんな目に遭わせるのかって。軽蔑されたり憎まれたり意地悪をされたり、 差別されたりしても平気な人なんていません。そんなことをされたら誰だってまず面食らい、そして怒るはずです。
怒りの他に何か感じた人は？
僕は混乱と屈辱を感じました。
それでも学ぶ価値はあった？
2週間ほど前にソフトボールの試合に行ったんです。そしたら黒人の男友達が来ていて「やあバーラー」と駆け寄ってきました。私たちが親しそうにしていると周りの白人が変な目つきで見てるんです。そういう人たちを見るたびに先生の実験授業を受けさせて、人間はみんな同じなんだっていうことを分からせてやりたいと思いますね。
私はまだ黒人が何かするのを見て、やっぱり黒人はダメだと思ってしまうことがあります。でも次の瞬間、いや白人だって同じことをしているわ、あれは黒人に限ったことじゃないのよと思い直すんです。同じことをしてても黒人だと気になってしまうんですね。白人がしてたら何とも思わないようなことでも黒人がしていると過剰に反応してしまうんです。つまり問題は私たち白人の考え方にあるんです。
私の祖父母は戦争中の話になると日本人のことをジャップって憎しみを込めて呼ぶんです。そんな時私は日系アメリカ人の身になってごらんなさいよ、日本人の血が流れてるってだけで収容所に入れられたのよって思うんです。実際にはまあ落ち着いてというだけですが、今さら祖父母に考えを変えろと言っても無理でしょうから。
あなたが年を取ったら？
私も今の自分の考えを変えるつもりはありません。
うちの子供たちは人を憎むということがありません。これは妻の教育のおかげです。もし外で黒人を憎む人に会ったとしても、パパもママも黒人が好きだから僕も好きになろうと思ってくれます。
いい旦那様を選んだわね。
彼が私を選んだの。
でもいずれは人種差別を肯定する人たちの意見も子供たちの耳に入ってしまいますよね。
親たちがそれは間違いだと言い続ければ大丈夫じゃないかしら。
そう、私たちからは悪影響を受けないと思うわ。少なくとも私たちのせいで子供が人を差別する人間になるということはないはずよ。問題は私たち以外の人よね。
あの授業は子供たちよりもむしろ先生たちみんなが受けるべきかしら。
誰もが受けるべきです。
すべての学校で生徒がまだ幼いうちにあの授業を行う必要があると思います。
エリオット先生の2日間の授業は教え子たちの人種差別に対する意識を変えただけではありませんでした。
この授業の2週間前と授業をしている2日間、そして授業の2週間後に国語と算数のテストをしてみたんです。すると子どもたちの点数は優れている人間だと言われた時に最高でした。劣っている人間だと言われた時に最低を示しました。授業後はクラス全体の成績が以前よりかなり高くなりました。この結果をスタンフォード大学の心理学科に送って非公式に分析をしてもらいました。大学側は信じられないことだがこの2日間の授業で生徒たちの学力が変化していると言ってきました。2日間の授業で生徒たちは大切なことを学びました。その大切なことを学んだのだという意識が子どもたちに自信を与え、優れていると言われた日に取った高い得点をその後も維持させたのです。
この授業の模様を収めたフィルムは各地で繰り返し上映されてきました。学校はもちろん行政機関や企業でも広く利用されています。受刑者の教育にこのフィルムを使っている刑務所もあります。ここはニューヨーク州のグリーンヘブン刑務所。デュエイン・ダブル・スミス教授がここの受刑者たちに教える社会復帰のためのコースでは10年以上も前からこのフィルムを教材にしています。受講者のほとんどが黒人かラテンアメリカ系の人たちです。
What I'd like to do is introduce the subject of prejudice and discrimination through this film called The Eye of the Storm.
Blue-eyed people are smarter than brown-eyed people? They are cleaner than brown-eyed people. They are more civilized than brown-eyed people.
Sandra and her brown-eyed friends didn't like that day, but Raymond did.
I felt like I was like king, like I...
社会の中で差別される側にある黒人たちはこのフィルムをどう受け止めたでしょうか。
偏見とか差別が人々の心の中にはびこる深刻な問題だということをあの子たちは分かってくれたと思います。差別される辛さはそれを経験した者にしか分かりません。
私が共感を覚えたのは休み時間に喧嘩をした茶色い目の男の子です。その子は差別される側のグループに入れられてやりきれない気持ちになっていました。そのやりきれない気持ちが友達を殴るという形で爆発したのです。でもその子は殴っても何の役にも立たなかったと言いました。これこそ全ての人に知ってほしいことです。暴力は何の救いにもなりません。このフィルムは自分の子供にも見せたいです。
アイオワ州では人口の 98% が白人です。しかしここアイオワ州の刑務所に収容されている受刑者のうち白人以外の人々が占める割合が 20% にも達し、刑務所側もこうした人々の扱いに気を配っています。この日はエリオット先生を招いて職員のための講習会が開かれました。受講者には講習会の中身は一切伏せてあります。
受付に来て目の色を尋ねられた時は事情が飲み込めませんでした。でも落ち着いて辺りを見回すうちに茶色い目の人のみと書かれた札に気づいたんです。茶色い目の人たちには広い待合室が用意されていましたが、私たち青い目の者は廊下で立って待っていなければなりませんでした。おまけに襟までつけられて何か嫌なことが始まるぞという予感がしました。9時になると茶色い目の人たちは中に案内されましたが、私たちは廊下で待たされたままでした。
青い目の人たちが外で待たされている間、会場ではエリオット先生が講習会の進め方を説明。
Now, this is not something I can do alone. This exercise won't work without your cooperation. Blue-eyed people aren't allowed to smoke. Blue-eyed people aren't allowed to sit in these empty chairs. Do not let a blue-eyed person sit next to you. You know you can't trust them. And besides which, they don't smell good. Everybody knows that about blue-eyed people. You don't know what you can catch from a blue-eyed person.
I still say we ought to see what kind of a reaction we'd get by everyone just simply going in.
外で待たされること20分。青い目の人たちは苛立ちを隠しきれない様子です。
Oppose it by all singing a song and doing something really loud, you know.
We shall overcome.
Yeah, right.
I need to have you keep it down. I don't know how many times I need to give that instruction, but you need to keep it down so you don't bother the people in the workshop.
ようやく青い目の人たちにも入室が許されました。しかしみんな相当腹を立てています。
It would be to your advantage in the future, people, if you'd get to meetings on time. And it would also be to your advantage if you'd put your gum away. Put your gum away. You want to get paid for today? Well, then stay, but put your gum away.
I don't have a purse, so I don't have a place to put my gum.
I'm sure that you are inventive enough to find a place for the gum. Now, I'd like for you to notice where she put her gum. You have this problem with blue-eyed people. You give them something decent and they just wreck it. Another thing that is obvious about blue-eyed people is that they're poor listeners. The first thing you have to do when you're teaching in a segregated situation, when you're working in a segregated situation, is teach the listening skills. The listening skills are: number one, good listeners have quiet hands, feet, and mouths. Everyone needs to write these down. I'd like for you to look at the man in the back, in the black jacket. The game we're playing is playing it cool. This is a favorite blue-eyed game, playing it cool. Nobody can bother me, man. I can handle this. I don't have to do this. I'm going to ignore this whole thing. Number two, Good listeners keep their eyes on the person who is speaking. I take it you don't have a pencil. Nor you? No. Perhaps you could borrow one from one of your neighbors. Sir, I realize that you feel that you don't need to write it down, but whether or not you write it down, perhaps you could remember it. Good listeners have quiet hands, feet, and mouths. Do you know what that means?
I'm not sure.
I believe that. Do you want me to explain it to you?
That's okay. I'll get a pencil and write this down directly.
Look, blue-eyed people, many of you have pencils. Will one of you please lend him a pencil, or don't you trust him? Which I can understand. From the last 10 minutes, what have you observed about blue-eyed people?
Blue-eyed people are very stubborn, very self-centered, and wish to control as much of their surrounding as possible. People that wise, I mean. Very inconsiderate people. I don't even know why you have them here in the first place.
We have them here because we are required to have them here.
Oh, we have to, huh?
This is one of the things you have to put up with.
Oh.
Number 3, good listeners, listen from the beginning to the very end. Okay, good listeners decide to learn something. And this is the thing you'll have the most difficulty with blue-eyed people. They decide not to learn something. Would you like to read that first listening skill to me?
I haven't got it on my paper yet.
Oh, why is that?
I haven't borrowed the pencil to write it down as yet.
Do you think it's unnecessary?
At this particular point, yes, I do.
Why?
I have it in my head for the most part.
There's a lot of space up there for it, isn't there, friend? Do you suppose you could tell me what it is?
It had something to do with keeping your hands and feet still, as I recall.
Has something to do with that. I find it interesting that you're amused by our having to stand here and wait for this man to do something that everybody else has already done. I find that highly interesting. Stupid, but interesting. Has it proven anything to brown-eyed people?
Yes, this is a typical trait of a blue-eyed person.
Now read the second one.
I don't have the second one. Can I read it off first?
You don't have the second one either.
No.
You were keeping it in your head. What happened to that plan?
Just the first one I had in my head, not the second one.
Oh, the other 3 aren't important?
Well, they're probably important.
But not important enough for you to write down, right?
Well, they're important. I should have written them down, most probably.
Most probably? Does anybody back there know? You don't have it written down either. I want you to take a look at these 2 so-called gentlemen. Now, we need to hear the good listening skills from you. I don't want you to think that I'm badgering you boys. But on the other hand, you're here to learn something. And if you learn nothing else today, it would be nice if you would learn the listening skills. What do you know now about brown-eyed people that you didn't know before about blue-eyed people that you didn't know before you came in here?
I'm finding I'm going to have to explain things a bit more explicitly to a blue-eyed person than I would to a brown-eyed person.
この後、筆記試験が行われました。
All right, I need these names and the scores.
I have KR11.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
KR, just initials, 11.
Just KR, just an initial, no last name?
No names.
How many?
茶色い目の人が青い目の人の試験を採点し、結果を発表します。これも講習の一環です。
Tell me the name again.
Churden?
You can't read the name?
No, I can't. Can't make it out.
What's your name?
My name is Chambers.
First name?
Janine.
And what was her score?
6.
Next.
E. Riley with a 5.
E.
E. Riley.
Will E. Riley please stand? You know, it's what you do to the image of blues with your behavior is unfortunate. What you three people do to the image of women with your behavior really makes me angry. The fact that you do this kind of thing and this kind of sloppy work reflects badly on women. I resent that doubly. Yes.
Ma'am, I'd really appreciate it if you'd call us by name when you say you three people. We don't know who you're speaking to. It could be anyone here.
My dear, if you wanted me to call you by name, you'd have put your name on your paper.
It's on my...
It was to be on your paper.
You didn't see my papers, ma'am.
I didn't get your name either because it wasn't on your paper.
That's right.
All right, now how can one call you by your name if you don't care enough about your name to put it on your paper? Don't expect me to worry about it. Don't expect me to worry about it if you don't put it on your paper. Don't sit here and say my name is important to me after you have just deliberately not put it on your paper. You're being totally unrealistic.
Important to me. I remember saying I like to know who you're speaking to you when you say you three.
Then what should you do?
Ask you to use my name, which I did.
And where should your name have been?
Right where it is.
On your paper?
And on my birth certificate.
Is it on your paper?
No, ma'am.
Where'd you get a birth certificate?
Same place you got? Out of a SWAT machine, same as you did, lady.
I think you're probably right about your own.
At least I know who my parents are, ma'am.
Is she being rude?
Yes.
She being inconsiderate?
Very.
She being uncooperative?
Very.
She being insultive?
Yes.
Are all those the things that we've accused blue-eyed people of being?
Yes.
Is she proving that we're right?
Yes.
Does anyone have any comments to make at this point?
Do you feel that there are important blue-eyed people?
There are exceptions to every rule.
And what are those exceptions?
There are a few important blue-eyed people.
Very few.
You
Do you think that you're one of them?
No.
That's
Then why
good.
are you up there then?
I'm blue-eyed. The difference between you and me is I have a brown-eyed husband and brown-eyed offspring, and I've learned how to behave in a brown-eyed society. And when you can act brown enough, then you too can be where I am.
I wouldn't want to be where you are.
Are you certain?
Absolutely positive.
You like where you are?
I love where I am.
You like it so much that you don't even identify yourself on your papers.
Brown-eyed peoples are no different than we are. I hate to tell them that. They have these false delusions and such.
Are they being disruptive?
No, you trained them very well. I think that's what they did with the stormtroopers in Germany also. You guys do a real good job sitting
You
up
think that what's
there.
happening here today feels like it would have felt in Nazi Germany?
Yes,
Where do you think you are in that then?
Where do I think I am?
Who are you if you're in Nazi Germany? Who are you?
The Jews.
昼食後、再び集まった刑務所の職員たちは午前中の講習について話し合いました。
何か収穫は？
午前中の体験から絶望感というものを知りました。まるでガラスの檻に入れられたような気分でした。腹が立ち、何か言ってやりたいと思ったんですが、もし何か言えばまたやり玉にあげられるに決まってます。深い、絶望感に襲われました。
以前にこのような経験をしたことは？
このような理不尽な差別をされたことはほとんどありませんね。
不愉快な1時間半でしたか？
特に最初の15分間はショックを受けました。
その経験から黒人たちの気持ちを推し量ることができますか？
できると思います。
私が怒りを感じたのは、同じ緑色の襟をつけてる人たちが我関せずという態度をとっていた点です。あれでは状況は良くなりませんよ。
なぜ助け合わなかったんですか？どうして青い目の人たちは何もせずに座っていたんですか？皆さんは仲間を見捨てましたね。さて、どうしてでしょう？
これは一般社会で見られる現象と同じものだと思います。少数の人が何かを訴えていても、残りの人々は大抵成り行きを見守るだけです。
自分の身の安全が第一なのね。
え
え。現実はそんなものだと思います。誰かが私たちのために戦ってくれているとき、その人に勝ち目があれば加勢もします。でも勝ち目がないようだったら遠巻きにして見ているだけですね。
今後人種差別を目の当たりにしたら皆さんは何か行動を起こしますか？
何をするかは分かりませんが、きっと何かします。でなければ子供たちに合わせる顔がない。
茶色い目の人は何を感じましたか？
青い目でなってよかったと思いました。
茶色の目に感謝した？怒りを感じたのね。
第一、先生が言いがかりをつけてるようだったし、それに自分が差別されていることにも、参加者全員が真っ二つに分かれて憎み合っていることにも怒りを覚えました。今日体験した差別は黒人やユダヤ人が体験している人種差別と同じものだと思います。人種差別については自分なりに理解しているつもりでした。でも一旦差別される側の立場に突き落とされてしまうともう抜け出せないものなんですね。今日の私たちもそうでした。悪質ないじめを受けているような異常な体験でした。
一生その状態で生きろと言われたら？
どう答えていいか分かりません。
あなたは朝起きた時、自分は人と違っているとは思わないでしょう。私たちは普通の白人の女性として目覚めるの。でも黒人女性は朝起きて鏡を覗き込んだ途端に自分たちは黒人で今日も人種差別とか偏見とかと戦わなきゃならないんだ、自分たちは人と違うんだって思い知らされるんです。今人種差別というものが分かったとおっしゃったけど、黒人たちの感じている人種差別はもっとひどいものだと思います。実際黒人女性の言葉にどれだけの人が耳を貸すでしょうか。どんなに私の考えを聞いていい提案があるわと訴えても、結局白人の意見の方が正しいことになってしまうんです。それが現実です。
この授業は犯罪防止のために必要なんです。人種差別に伴う犯罪がなくなることが私の願いです。犯罪が一掃されてこのような授業をやる必要がなくなればそれに越したことはありません。この授業は全ての教育者、そして行政当局の人たちにも行われるべきだと思います。でも子どもたちに関しては正しい方法でやらないとかえって逆効果になってしまうかもしれません。この授業は一つ方法を間違えば子どもたちを傷つけてしまう恐れがありますからね。ですからもし他の教師たちがこの授業を実施したかったら、まず教師自身がこの授業を受けてその意味を理解しなければなりません。そしてこの授業を完全に自分のものにしてから子どもたちに対して行えばいいのです。きちんと勉強しさえすれば誰でもできますよ。私だってできたんですから。そんな優れた教師じゃなくてもできるはずです。
小学校3年生の教室から始まったこの実験授業はさまざまな場所で応用され、それを体験した人に大きな影響を与えています。子どもたちを差別意識というウイルスから守りたい。それがエリオット先生の願いなのです。
After you do this exercise, when the debriefing starts, when the pain is over and you're all back together and you're all one again, you find out how society could be if we really believed all this stuff that we preach, if we really acted that way. You could feel as good about one another as those kids feel about one another after this exercise is over. You create instant cousins. I thought maybe that lasted just while they were in my classroom because of my superior influence. But indeed, these kids still feel that way about one another. They said yesterday, over and over, the remark was made, we're kind of like a family now. They found out how to hurt one another, and they found out how it feels to be hurt in that way. And they refused to hurt one another that way again. And they said, we're kind of like a family now, and indeed we were.